Welcome to our lesson today, and it's the planning and management of computing projects. Today, we're going to look at the 2021 Gantt chart, uh, and we're going to use Project Libre as our software of choice for creating this Gantt chart. Uh, Before you begin, ensure that you have the set task brief ready, your spreadsheet ready, and your Project Libre application open. We are going to be looking at how we can calculate the function points to get the duration of the task. And without further ado, let us begin our lesson. We're going to look at the set task brief. All right, let us look at the set task brief. And it's a 2021. All right, we're just going to skip through and go to where we have the aim or the task, the functional point analysis for the task, because this is actually what's going to go on your Gantt chart. All right. So what we're going to do, first of all, we're going to use Microsoft Excel to calculate the days for each task using the analysis for the functional point and also the analysis for the functional points for the staff that's going to be working on these tasks. All right, let us just first of all, let's copy over these tasks over to the Excel sheet. Extend it so we can see it. Let's just split the screen so I don't have to keep going back and forth like that. Let's just split this to here and use it like that. Okay, so we're going to do and if you notice, I set up my Excel where I have the topics of task, stuff, functional points, hours per functional point, hours work, and duration, where I calculate the days. You notice I haven't just select all and copy over. There's a reason for this. I'll show you right now. If I do it this way, where I do this, I want to see what happened. It does, it's not, it's not having fun with the Excel sheet that way. So what I have to do is do them one by one. All right. So what I am going to do is I am going to just paste them in. Might be a bit tedious at the moment, but the sacrifice is worth it. Okay, so here we go. Now, now that we have the function, the points, we can go ahead before we even put the stuff in. And we know it's saying here general function points. So we put 12 there. This is 16, another 16. All right, it automatically puts it in there for you. All right. So you have all your functional points being added there for you. That's what Excel does for you. All right. Hours work per functional point. First of all, we have to find out which staff can do this job before we try to put the hours work per functional point. So what we're going to do is we are going to figure this out. So we need to go up to this section here where it says junior network will work on this task. They're going to tell you the task that they work on and how many functional points they will need per task. So creating customized app, if we go through and search, creating customized app is through the app developer. So what we could do is put AD for app developer. And I think the app developer does backend also. Yes. So you put AD for app developer. Configuring security protocol would be app developers also. And if you notice, the app developer can uh, does do general function points. All right. So the app developer can do that. Deploying cloud software, that's a software engineer, senior. So I say senior software engineer for that one. Installing network infrastructure would be senior network engineer. All right, he's the only one who can do it. Installing camera, also senior network engineer. Installing stress testing app with junior software engineer. Only one who can do it is the junior software engineer. Installing configuring hardware. Configure hardware, that's a junior network engineer. Software testing. Software testing would be junior software engineer. And hardware testing would be senior network engineer. and also junior network engineer. But for now, we could just put senior there. Or if you want, you could put your junior network engineer there also. All right. Let's see. Senior network engineer is doing a lot of work. So let us just put the junior here. Junior network engineer. All right. Now we want to find out how many hours will each of these guys work. All right, for the general functional point, the app developer, we go down to the app developer, and it's 5 hours per general functional point. So we put 5 here. All right. Then we put 5 here because the same app. But now for complex general functional points, the app developer is going to work 8 hours. All right. And for deploying senior software engineer will work 8 hours per complex functional points also. And senior network engineer will work 12 hours. Senior network engineer will work 5 hours, 5 hours per general functional point. Installing cameras, who's doing that? That would be senior network again, 8 hours per complex functional points. Stress testing, junior software engineer, and it would be 6 hours per general functional points. Installing that would be junior network engineer, and it's 6 hours for general functional points. Software testing, 12 hours would be junior software, and it's 6 hours per general functional points. And hardware testing with junior network, which is also another 6 hours per general functional point. All right, so we have that. No, we need to work out the amount of hours they work in total. So all we have to do is let Excel do the job for us. We're in C2 here where 12 is, right? And D2 where the hours per functional point is. So all we have to do is just plug that data here where it says hours worked would be D2 times E2. So it's equal D2 times E2. Sorry, it's not D2, sorry. D2 times C2. So it's C2, sorry, times D2. All right, and we get that. And now all we have to do is just drag this down, and it gives us the calculation for the amount of hours worked. Now for the duration, we have the hours worked, the total amount of hours worked for all these tasks, yeah? So now we need the duration, which is the amount of days they'll be spending on each task. What we need to do is find out how many hours do they work per day. And this is all in the set task for you. It's there for you. So if you go down to this section here, it is going to show you the amount of hours they work per day, which is, it is estimated that the staff would work 5 days a week and 7.5 hours per day. So they're going to work 7.5 hours per day. So how do we get this answer? All we have to do is divide the amount of hours work, right, by the amount of hours within the days that they work. So it's going to be, we're going to use Excel again, E2, so it's equal E2 divided by, and we have our 7.5 hours per day. So it's divided by 7.5. 7.5. And that would give us 8 days for the first one. Then we just do the same thing by just dragging this down. And these are the amount of days that they're going to work on each task. All right. Now that we have found that out, the amount of days that you're going to work on each task, that's when we now go to Project Libre. All right. And Project Libre, I'm going to start a new project, and I'm going to call it, my project is, the name is Max P. Max P Ltd. And it's installation of smart devices. All right, installation and automation of smart devices. To you, what your thing is, and I am going to be the project manager. All right, and my project will be starting on, based on this, it's going to be starting on the 1st of February 2021. So I am going to put my start date here, 01/02/2021. And one of the things you're going to see, the date won't change instantly. Still going to say 2025 until this moment, where, all right, let us look at the first thing that we need to do. We need to first of all put the project time. All right. Then the next thing we're going to put in is the project monitor, because that's what you will be doing. All right. And then we're just going to copy over from Excel the task. So we're going to copy the task from Excel, Control V to paste it, and we just paste it in. All right. One of the other things that we need to do is to copy and paste the duration, or the days. I rather put it in manually because it prevents mistakes. All right? It prevents mistakes. I'd rather to put it in manually because it will prevent mistakes. All right? After I've copied it over, you will get just the task on this. And don't worry about the color. if you notice, it changes to the 1st of February 2021. The date is now the 1st of February. So what we're going to do is we are going to, first of all, select everything under project time. And then we're going to go to task and indent it. So the project time will constantly change as the task or move around. All right, now, one thing I always tell my students and my learners is that the project monitor should always, the finish date for the project monitor should always coincide with the finish date on the timeline. So I'm going to change this to 24/2, sorry, /02/2021. Always correct, it should coincide with it. All right, now that we have these tasks, right? The next thing we want to put on here are our resources. Yes, so what we do in Project Libre is we're going to put our resources. And what I usually do is I go back to my set task brief, and I use the project organizational structure for this. No, not the project organizational structure. There's a section where, yes, right here. The finance manager has provided costing to help you with the plan on a project. So I go over and I click on resources and I select the button here. And I'm going to put me first as a project manager. So I'm going to put Michael. And I'm going to put in brackets PM. Then I'm going to put, it's best if we use a structure because it gives us yes. And then I'm going to put Ahmed Akhtar. Then I'm going to put whoever is below Ahmed Akhtar. Mm-hmm. So that's what we do. All right. And what we're going to do here, I am going to select all of these and I'm going to indent it so they are under Ahmed Akhtar. And the thing is, what I like to do is to put their role. So I know he's senior software engineer. And I know these guys, these first two are app developers. So I like to do that. Just to give me clarity when I'm doing setting up assigning my resources. And she's junior software engineer. Okay. If you notice here, the type, it shows work, and we're going to see what that will do to the project because there are other resources that need to go on. The material resources need to go onto here, onto the resource list. Okay, so now we're going to put the senior network engineer, who is Sam Medeli. We're going to do Jessica Wood. Then we're going to do Minal Haq. Then we're going to do Steve Taylor. All right. And we're going to give them their titles. Sam is a senior network engineer. Junior network engineer. That's Jessica. Minal is junior network. They're basically all junior network engineer. So what we're going to do is just copy it. Okay, good. So we have those guys. All right, now we need to ensure that this guy is at the top of the hierarchy for the rest of these guys. So what we're going to do is select all of these, and we're going to indent it. All right, but if you notice, Sam is also a part of Ahmed. We don't want that. So what we're going to do is select Sam, and we're going to outdent Sam, and then when we do Ahmed, Sam is outside. Now, we're going to select everybody, and we're going to indent to me, who is a project manager. All right, so we have that. Now we need to do their rate of pay. That is why I put the initials here of what they do. So the project manager now, and some of these we can get rid of them by hiding them. Get rid of some of these columns by hiding them, because we don't really need all of these. We don't need overtime rate. We don't need cost per use. We don't need base calendar. We just need the basics. All right. So project manager, which is PM, is 35 pounds per hour. Senior software engineer is 40. App developer is also 40. And we're using these here, cost per hour, the rate that they're paid per hour. App developer is 40. Junior software engineer is 22. Senior network is 40. Junior network is 23. 23 for all of these guys. All right, good. So we have all of that. But remember, we need to also add these resources, which is the items that will be used on the project. So we just add them down here, the materials. And what I'll do, I'll just copy and paste them over. And usually the materials would have been calculated on the PID already. So you could just put the prices over from the PID. All right. So all of these are not work, they're material, they're items. So we convert them to material by just clicking on work and just change it to material. All right. And that's what we do. Now we need to put the price. We know that smart camera, the price is already 4,000 pounds. Smart locks, it's 25 times 199. Sorry, 25 times 200. That will be, we have 5,000 here. This one is 899. That's 100 times 8.99. So that's 899 pounds. And then that's 4,090. That's 100. So for the sensors now, hold on. Did I do something wrong here? So we have smart cameras, that's 4,000. Smart lock, that's 199 times 25. That's 5,000. Hold on, did I do something wrong here? Sorry, that's 4,909. That's 4,975. And then for the smart lighting, that would be 2,500. That would be the 5,000. And then this one would be 899. And then for the sensors, that's 499. 4,499. And then 6,000 for the smartphones. And then cable would be 5,000 times 699. 34,950. And then that would be 350. $350. So that's 350. All right, good, perfect. So we have the materials here. All right, now what do we do from here? Right? We're going to go back. Now that we have the materials, one of the first thing I'd advise you to do when you get these material is to print it, because this would be your resource list. When you get this resource, you print it. So you go to File and you do the PDF and save it according to how the exams would want you to save it. Forgive my computer, it's moving a bit slow. So you'd save it to where the exam wants you to save it. Because this is now your resource list. All right, so now we're going to go over to task and we're going to go back to the Gantt chart. We have our resources. All right, project manager. You can assign your project manager, which is me. All right. Now, remember when we were using the Excel, the Excel is a good tool to help us here. App developer is going to be working on creating customized app. So we're going to go to create customized app and we're going to look for app developer. So we're going to put Bobby Gray, assign Bobby Gray to that one, right? And let's say we are going to assign Harry Smith to the other one. All right. And then complex function configuring security protocol, we're going to assign, let's say, Bobby Gray to that one. Configuring security protocol, we're going to add Bobby Gray to that one. All right. But this is our dilemma. Bobby Gray is working on this, which is also coinciding with this one. Bobby Gray is one person. Bobby Gray can only work on one task at a time. All right. So what we could do is we could wait for Bobby Gray to finish this task, then do the other one. All right. But let's not do that. Let's put both of them to make the time to reduce the amount, the task, the time for the duration of a task, because we're working with a timeline here. So we're going to put Harry Smith, going to assign Harry Smith to it also, to the first task. All right, but Harry Smith is working on the second task. So what do? We're going to wait until they're both finished, then we start this task. All right, but if Bobby Gray helped Harry Smith, if Harry Smith helped Bobby Gray, we can do the favor, do him a favor and help him out on this one. So what we're going to do now is we're going to assign Bobby onto this task and reduce the time also. But if you notice, Bobby Gray is working on this one. So this task has to be completed before, after, this task can't start until they're finished with this task. So that's what we do. All right, let me zoom out a bit. All right, so that task can't be completed until this one is finished. This task can't start until this one has been completed. All right, so what will happen? But Harry Smith can work on this task also because he's an app developer. So what we could do now is assign Harry Smith to that task. All right, and it reduced the time that they're working on the task. Now, deploying and configuring. This would be done by, if we look at the Excel, that's a senior software engineer. So this guy hasn't been doing anything. So we can start that task at the beginning of the project. Now, installing network infrastructure it's a senior network engineer. All right. So we're going to assign, who is a senior Deploying and configuring cloud server. Configuring cloud server. Let me expand this so we can see it more. Deploying and configuring cloud server. We need to assign the senior software network to that one, which would be Ahmed. And Ahmed is assigned to that one. He's not doing anything. It's not conflicting with any of the other tasks. We don't have to wait on that task. We can just start it. We don't have to wait on that customized app interface to start with setting up the cloud, deploying and configuring cloud server. We can just start from the beginning of the project. All right, so that's good. Ahmed will do that, but we need to install network infrastructure, and the senior network engineer would have to do that. So we're going to assign our senior network engineer. We assign him to that one. All right. And then, but he has to be working on installation of camera and sensor based on what we've put here. So we're going to assign the senior network engineer to installing camera and sensor. But because he's already started this task will have to wait until he's completed that one before we can start it. All right. And then stress testing customized app. All right. We are going to stress test the customized app. But we also have hardware right here. So what we're probably going to do, we're going to switch this. We're going to put some new here, and then we're going to copy this, and we're going to paste it up here. All right, so we have it there, and then we're going to remove this one. Okay, so now we have installation of camera, and then we're going to install and installation of camera and sensor. Yes, and then we're going to install and configure hardware. All right, so the installation of the camera can be done after the infrastructure, because we have to have the infrastructure first before we start installing cameras and configuring hardware. It has to be done after. Installation of camera and sensor has to be done. This has to be done after this, because the camera needs to be configured. All right. So we have those. And then after we've done that, it says stress testing customized app. This has to be done after the customized app has been completed. So it's a stress testing of customized app. So what are we going to stress test it with? We have to ensure that it can meet all of the necessary requirements for it to work. So we have to do it right after we deploy the cloud server. So we're going to do stress testing after we've deployed the cloud server. All right. Installing and configuring hardware will have to be done after. Hold on, this one. Oh, we already done that. So we're going to remove that one also. So we're going to do software testing after we've stress test the app. All right. And then we're going to do hardware testing after we've done the installation of after we've done all of that. But one of the things we have to realize now, we did not put our resources to these. So who is going to install that who is going to install and configure hardware? So we go back to our Excel. So that will be junior network engineer. So install and configure hardware would be our junior. So we're going to assign our juniors to it. And at this point, we can assign all of them. So we can reduce the time on it. All right. All right, let me remove the predecessor from this one. Let's remove the predecessor from the last one. This would be the stress testing of testing of hardware. There we go. All right. So at this point, that. And who is going to do the testing for the hardware, for the software? That is going to be done by the same people who did. This is going to be done by the junior software engineer. So we're going to assign our junior software engineer as we've put here. So our junior software engineer will be assigned to the testing. And then for hardware testing, that would be our junior network engineer. So we're going to assign them here again. All right. So we've assigned them. So who is doing that one? This is stress testing. Will be junior software engineer. So stress testing would be done by our junior software engineer. Assign. And if you notice, nobody is working two tasks at the same time. All right. The other thing that we need to look at is on our set task brief, it says that there are some major and minor faults that we need to work out. All right. So what we're going to do is do the calculation. It says there's at least one major fault will be found for the hardware testing and 8 minor faults, right? And assume that during software testing, at least 2 major faults and 2 minor faults. It normally takes 2 days to rectify a major fault and 1 day to rectify a minor fault. And each fault needs a further 3 days. So we're going to look at it this way. We're going to work out software testing, the faults for software testing first. All right. So it's going to be at least one major fault and 8 minor faults. So it's 2 So that would be 2 days for the one major fault for the hardware and 8 days for the minor faults. So that gives us a total of 10. So that gives us a total of, so that's one. It takes 2 days to rectify one. So this has, let's write it. So this is going to be one major fault and it takes 2 days to rectify. So we have 2 here times 3 because each fault will take a further 3 days to rectify. Then this is 8 times 3, or what we could do is just add these two and multiply by 3. So that 326 and 3 8 is 24. So this is equal to 30 days. That's equal to 30 days. And then this one has 2 major faults, right? That's 2 times 2, which is 4 days. Times 3. And then this is 2 minor faults. So that's 2 times 3. So that's 3 fourths 12 plus 6 is equal to 18. All right. So how I do this on the Gantt chart would be I would put the major faults below here. I would say testing for hardware faults. And then testing for software faults, or just testing for software faults. All right. And then I'll just put my duration. So for the hardware, it's going to be 30. And for the software, it's going to be 10. 18, sorry. It's going to be 18. All right. Now, these faults will have to be done after the testing, after these testing. All right. And whoever is doing the software testing and the hardware testing can do the fault testing. So let us look at hardware testing. Those would be all the junior network. So I'm going to put all junior network on this testing. All right. And it has to be done after hardware testing. All right. Now, who can test for, who can do software testing? Junior software engineer can. And also senior software engineer. So we can get the senior software engineer to do this testing, providing he's finished. And junior software can also go on the testing for this one. So we're looking for where the software testing is. And it's right after the software. All right. Now, we could also add our senior software engineer to this one. Because we can put into work. All right. What you have to look at though, sometimes Project Libre messes up. It doesn't want to do what you ask it to do. So you have to sometimes go in and do it, be a bit technical on it. All right, so that's the software. So we do it right there. Now we look a bit right. All right, now that we have calculated the faults, the functional points, the regression and all of that, all right, I should put regression testing. Testing. And regression. And regression, good. All right. Now that we've done all of this we've put in all our manpower, we need to put the other resources, the materials on here. So we're going to look, for example, network infrastructure. We can assign the network infrastructure to it, or whatever infrastructure that we need to install. So we are going to assign, all right, let's look at cameras. Let us look at cameras. Cameras can go here, and we assign the cameras. Hardware, we can assign hardware to locks can be assigned to that. Smart lighting can be assigned to it. Heat sensors can be assigned to it. What can be assigned to a heat sensor? Yeah. Cables can be done to infrastructure. Wi-Fi access point can be done to infrastructure. And then smartphones. Put smartphone on this one, because we need to test the smartphone on that one. All right, so we do installation infrastructure, camera and sensor. There's a camera sensor can be assigned there. Sure, it's not assigned to anything else. Okay, good. So everything is assigned. To be certain, what we can do is go back to resources and click it. And once it's green, it's assigned to something. All right. So we have that for resources. Okay, good. So now we go back to task and we are going to put our milestones in. How I usually do the milestones, what I'll do is, let me expand the screen. What I'll do for milestone is I would just find where all the software are being installed and configured, and I'll just check them. So all of these are software. Then I'd add a new row between software and installation, and I'll put software milestone. All right. Notice you have a day on it. It should be 0. All right. And it should be at the last where the last software is being installed. So I put my milestone right there. And it gives me the 24th of a second. Now I'm going to look for where there's installation going on. And this is where all the installation is. Just basically any phase that is related, like installation of hardware. I will put a new one under here and I put uh, hardware installation milestone or milestone. Installation of hardware. Or and it's going to be a day 1. So now we have to find out when the last installation is going to be. And then we put that at 0. All right. It's at 0. And this will be our installation, the end of our installation, which is our milestone. The next one is testing. All right. So we can do this 2 ways. We can just name all the testing and just put a milestone for testing. But I rather separate it. All right. So what I am going to do is I am going to put new and I'm going to put milestone testing. All right. And then it should be at the end of all testing. Whenever our last testing, that should be it. All right. And you notice there's a stress testing here. There's a hardware testing here. Hold on, this is software. And there's a software testing above it. But it's a last testing that we're concentrating on. Testing is testing. All right. Then I am going to do at the end of this, which is a handover. Which is also a milestone. All right. And 0. And then we're going to put it at the end here. And our project has ended at the 31st of the 3rd. Now, we have everything that we need so far for this Gantt chart. All right, I don't think there's anything missing, except the fact that our monitor and our timeline should coincide. So it's the 31st of the 3rd. So we need to put that, the 31st of the 3rd. All right. So we're still below the deadline. We've done it by the deadline, right? So now let's check to see if our budget is still within the amount that they say. Let's see what the amount that they say the budget was. It was 125. So now let's look at the budget. So we go to view, we click on view on a tab, and we go to report. And we do the drop down list, and we're going to go to task information. It will bring you up what you have done so far and who is working on what. And we go to cost. And look, we're below the budget. Ignore whatever is at the bottom here. All right, it's just a duplicate. It's doubling. And it's a feature that is not to be explained for now. This will create confusion, but ignore what is at the bottom. And this would be your cost. This is what you would put on your PID for the estimated cost. All right, so we're below budget and we're on time. You're going to save this for your cost, right? This is a part of the task that you're supposed to do. You're supposed to save this as a cost. And all you have to do is go to File and PDF. It should print, but I don't know, for some reason, because I'm using the recording feature, it's not printing. So you print that. And also you're going to print your Gantt chart. So you're going to go back to your Gantt, your task, then Gantt, and then you're going to go to print, file, print, and it tells you where to print. All right, your resource list, you should print your resource list. You should print it. Get rid of 18. You're going to delete that one. Yes, you should print this, and it's the same procedure. File, PDF, print, according to what the exam is asking of you to do. All right. And then basically, that's it. You can now use your Gantt chart for any report you want on the exams. One of the things a lot of people should be aware of when you're filling out let's pull that one up. When you're filling out the PID, all right, your task, your SMART objectives. Let's get this down. When you're filling out your SMART objectives and you're using the Gantt chart, right? You use these dates, all right? So for example, let's say I'm going to put creating customized app on my SMART objectives. Control C. I'm going to put it on my SMART objectives. Right? I'm going to put that on my SMART objective. We don't need the functional points. All right? I look at that and I look at my first thing. I'm going to look at the date. So I'm going to start at the 1st of the second 21, and I'm going to, that task will be completed on the 31st of the third. Sorry, wrong one. The 4th of the second, 21. So I'm going to go back to my smart objective. So I'm going to be the first 01/02/2021, right? So I'm going to start the project. Right? If I just put this, I'm going to put achieve no or not achieve, right? And I'm going to just put worked on by a developer, right? I can put that. That's who it's going to work on. But let's say I put yes. If I put yes, I'm going to put the start date, right? And I'm going to put the end date. And my end date for this project is going to be the 4th of the second, 2021. Right? And then I am going to put worked on by, and I'm going to look for the names of the people who worked on it. Which would be Bobby Gray, Harry Smith. So it's Harry Gray and Bobby Smith that worked on it. Or I can put developers because they're the ones working on it. So I could put Bobby Gray and Harry Smith, or I could put the app developers, full names, not initials. All right, and that's what I do if I'm putting yes. But if it's no, all I need is just a start date and who will be worked on or will be worked on by. That's how you communicate it. All right. So that's it for now for the Gantt chart and smart objectives. I hope this will give you a more concise, a more in-depth knowledge on how to do the Gantt chart. All right. I'll be doing other videos on assumptions for the 2021 to give you an idea, and also on the constraints to give you an idea of how you should be working on it. All right. So that's it for now. Thank you.